गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 1, Shiva Shakti Samavesh, and verse number 29.
You briefly mentioned about 28.
Oh, so we have to start from 28. How come this thing is on the wrong place? Okay. So in the 27th we saw, having accepted the essence of total absence, that is pure existence, as her husband, she acquired the special status of being Shakti. And there we were talking about that that there is nothing called void, there is only conscious void, and that void which is permeated by the presence is the Shakti. So we also saw that it is the Prakriti, it expands and it contracts. It gets involved, or I should say, it becomes zero when it withdraws, and when it gets involved, it has multiple number of thoughts, isn't it? But all this expansion and withdrawal in Prakriti cannot happen without the presence of the Shiva Tattva, Shiva principle, or Shiva Tattva. That was what was told here, that even after removal of, negation of everything, what remains behind is the Shiva Tattva, is the presence, and that is the truth, that is the and that one will experience once they start seeking, then they start meditating. What is Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Exactly the same thing. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is all activity of your mind has cessated, and what remains there is you. Same thing is happening in deep sleep also, but what is happening in deep sleep? You are unaware of yourself. Even though the mind is becoming completely empty, but you are not aware of yourself. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, mind is becoming completely empty, but you are aware of yourself. That is the only difference. If we can recreate that on the seat of meditation, that will be wonderful. So here it said that so this absolute principle, this absolute consciousness is present before, just like water is available before the wave, during the wave, and after the destruction of the wave. So from water's point of view, wave is a creation, isn't it? Exactly the same way. The absolute consciousness is before during and after the Prakriti. I, the Absolute, is ever present with the arising of the consciousness. Why do we say after the arising of the consciousness? The I, the Absolute, is ever present with the arising of the consciousness. Consciousness here, you have to understand, is the conscious mind. So it is the mind which says, I know I am. Absolute truth doesn't say that I know I am. Huh? I assumes the temporary status of Purusha in relation to Shakti, and the three states of consciousness are created. So the three states, waking, dream and deep sleep, are in Prakriti, and that Prakriti which cannot function without the Absolute, and when that Absolute reflects through these three, is called as I the waker, I the dreamer, I the sleeper. But even though he is being called as that, he has never given up his status of the Absolute, and that is your truth. That is our truth. But we get shunted around being the waker, being the dreamer, being the sleeper, and then we seek sleep because I want to relax, I want to become fresh for tomorrow, blah blah blah. But if we take that position that I am the Absolute, in my presence these are coming and going, story over. The moment this specific existence is given to the Shakti, the Purusha or Shiva becomes Shakti Jati. Consciousness becomes the power of existence through which the total creation is made possible. So here consciousness, again I am saying, it is the mind where the idea of consciousness is present, and in that mind the possibility of the entire creation is there or not there. Both spectrums, through which the total creation is made possible. In this way, nothing is created, nothing is added, nothing is destroyed. Waves are created, waves are made, and waves is destroyed. This is what we say. But really speaking, the amount of water that is remaining in the waters of the ocean is still the same. They have not become less. They did not become less because wave was created, and they did not become more because wave merged back into the ocean. That is our normal experience in the outside world. If you take something out of something, what remains behind is less than less or whatever. And therefore Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Everything is full, always. So this sense of incompleteness must not be allowed to take root in our mind. Somewhere something has gone wrong and the mind has started believing that it is less than the Absolute. For a point comes, if mind is thinking of the Absolute all the time, a point will come, a time will come, a moment will come, Eureka! Aham Brahmasmi. Then after that, mind will continue to function, but without any feeling of being less. It will be full. This is how the masters live. This fullness gives way only when you take ownership. When you get identified with, then the fullness is corrupted. This Purnamada Purnamidam, this is corrupted if you take ownership. If you become the seer, hearer, toucher, taster, even though it is going on, either you can take each role. At the moment you take a role, and why will you take a role? Because you are identified. The moment you take the role, you have concretized the I. Allow it to happen. Just like you're allowing everything to happen in the body. So many things are happening. You don't say, I'm digesting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm beating the heart, I'm breathing, you don't say that. It's all happening. Then why, when it comes to the senses, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm touching, why it comes to the mind, I'm thinking? You don't say that about rest of the physiological functions. The rule must continue. It should be a blanket statement. Why? For some things I am not doing it, and for some I am doing it. Then if you say I am seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, and then I am heart beating, I am making the blood flow, then fix yourself completely. No, there are masters who do it. Yeah. You can heal yourself completely. You can stop your heart. Swami Rama used to stop his heart on the stage. He challenged all the American doctors. They came, did experiment. For 10 minutes his heart stopped. My grandfather used to sit with no heartbeat. Here on this block. See? 84 years old. There are people who do that, all those things. You also do it, you don't know it, that's all. Many times our heart stops, many times our breathing stops, but we don't realize it.
Swamiji, why, you just said, why are we not thinking about the blood and heart and all? Why are we thinking that we are seeing? Why, Swamiji? Why are we seeing?
Because of delusion. Because you have given reality to the world, which includes body, breath, mind, intellect. So the more you give value, the more thinking will come. The moment you give value, the I comes up. Isn't it?
So the whole thing is not to.
Not to. It's all happening anyway. From whose point? From the observer's point of view. See? So here, the Shiva Shakti is actually one. But it appears as if water and wave are separate. Isn't it? You are one, but it appears the husband in you and the man in you are separate. The brother in you and the man in you are separate. Similarly, my consciousness, the Atman and the mind is one, but it seems there is a difference between the consciousness, the Atman and the mind. Actually they are one. This I explained last week, where the thoughts come in the mind. Mind is nothing but consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thoughts is called pure consciousness. And in any object, 5 things are present. Asti, Bhati, Priya, Nama, Roop. Asti is existence, Bhati is knowledge, Priya is bliss, Nama, Roop is name and form. Everything. So if there is life expressing through you, that life is made up of existence, consciousness and bliss, and the matter is made up of name and form. This is how every object in this world is. Then what about this carpet or this stone or this? Oh, Asti and Bhati and bliss. So it's existing, but consciousness and bliss are hidden. They are not expressing themselves, because everything must have the capacity to express. In this stand, only existence is expressing, consciousness and bliss is not expressing. For consciousness to express, it must become conscious. So then we come to the plant kingdom, consciousness is expressing a little bit more than it has become manifest, but not fully manifest. Then we come to the animal kingdom, bird kingdom, reptile kingdom, and as we go, the consciousness is expressing more and more and more. When you come to gorillas and chimpanzees, it is even more than other animals. And when it comes to human beings, it reaches its... No, it doesn't reach its peak. But it is fully manifest. Now, what you are doing by listening to satsang and doing your sadhana is, you are pursuing that consciousness to its zenith. So only human being can experience the bliss. So here it is also expressing, but it has not reached its peak. If you are miserable, then it has not reached its peak. See? So he says here the first three are the essential nature of the Purusha, meaning the Atman, the person, the Shiva. His nature is Satchit Anand or Asti Bhati Priya, and Nama Rupa are the manifestations of the Shakti. Name and form is the manifestation of the Prakriti or the Shakti. Nama and Rupa, name and form, give specificity, Satta Vishesha. In this way, the whole world is manifested. So, can Shakti manifest itself independently? No. Can Shiva manifest the world without Shakti? No. That is where their coexistence lies. So, and essentially both of them are one alone, and yet playing with the... It seems that they are two. Why we are using this word that they are two? Because we have to... how do you explain this phenomena otherwise? Some words have to be used. As Shiva is the essence of Shakti, and so is Shakti his life. Jiye praneshwari veena shivihi shivapana tharo na shakete apana shive ghadili. Without his beloved, there is no glory to Shiva, and his Shakti is manifested from Shiva himself. So what is the glory? Effulgence. What is the glory of the sun? The sunlight. That sunlight is not come from outside. It is part and parcel of the sun, isn't it? Exactly the same way. The Shakti is part and parcel of Shiva. It is his own. It is not separate to him. And just like Shakti, the sun rays cannot be without the sun, similarly, the Shakti cannot be without the Shiva. So what if now you start taking this subjectively, that my mind is my glory? The mind is the glory of the self. So if that will make you put yourself in the position of the self and look at your own mind as the glory of the self. And if the self is of the nature of Satchit Anand, then the glory also must express Satchit Anand. Then where is the question of misery? See? Automatic integration will happen. See? Automatically this Hina bhav that I am this much, I am that much, I am born, I am going to die, I have to do something for survival, all this will get out of your whole system, out of your mind. Why? Because you are taking a different position within yourself. Now there is no fight between the self and the mind. The I and the mind, there is no fight. It is an imaginary fight. In Kashmiri Shaivism, this is where we say neti neti in Shankara Vedanta. Here there is no neti neti. Here is straight away. This I accepts that idam as, because idam cannot exist without I, and I cannot exist without idam. Both are coexisting. So if I stops fighting, controlling, dictating, manipulating that idam, integration will happen. automatically all the thoughts will be the right type of thoughts. Then all the idam is the glory of the I. We're going into the mind now. So all the idam is the glory of the I. And all idam cannot exist without the I. So all your roles that you are playing, father, mother, daughter, sister, they are the glory of this person that you are. They are not something to be. You don't want to get, when you take it as separate from you or separate from each other, not as a glory, then you get exhausted playing those roles. You see? But when you take it as your glory, then what will you do when you are playing those roles? You will do it joyfully. Wherever life is placing you, here it is placing you for satsang, you will listen, be the seeker joyfully, speaker joyfully, seer joyfully, hearer joyfully. Wherever your attention is going, somewhere it is going all the time. The moment I said father, mother, daughter, suddenly you become, for a fraction of a moment, you think of your children. At that very moment, you became the father or mother. Joyfully, it is your glory. Nothing to fight against. Nothing to manipulate. That's all we do all our life. Manipulate the world. In other words, you are manipulating your own thoughts. Without his beloved wife Shakti, Shiva cannot be Shiva. So, I cannot be. We are going aham idam. Aham cannot be aham without idam. It needs idam to be the aham. Coexistence. Sun cannot be sun without the sunlight. Individual cannot be individual without the mind. Purusha, Prakriti. Mind is Prakriti, Purusha is the Atman. Without his beloved wife Shakti, Shiva cannot be Shiva, the husband. And who has created this Shakti, the wife? By the Shiva alone. Because Shiva knows he is the Paramashiva. So out of him only the potentiality has come. Whereas if you consider yourself to be the body, where do the muscles come out? From outside. They were inherent within the body and you invoked the muscles by going to the gym. Or you thought about it and that made you go somewhere. So where was this potentiality that I must go to the satsang today? It was within your mind. At the right place, at the right time, you invoked it and it brought you here. Where was father, mother, daughter, sister? They were within you. You invoked it because you thought about it. So that thinking about it, Paramashiva thought, I want to experience myself, he became Shiva Shakti. You think I want to experience, you became Ahamidam. When Shiva has himself manifested as consciousness, Shakti is revealed. So Shiva is essentially existence. When existence becomes conscious of itself, understand the words. When existence becomes conscious of itself, then Shakti is manifesting. So existence is the substratum. Everything is. But when is becomes aware of itself, the Shakti comes about. And that leads to bliss. So right now, why we are not experiencing the bliss? Because we are not aware of ourselves. We are not aware of the existence. We are not aware of the substratum. When mind becomes aware of its source, what is the source of the mind? The Purusha or the Absolute. or the Atman, whichever way you put it. When it becomes, bliss will express. So we are all moving around in life. We know we exist. Nobody is saying, I exist. I don't exist. Every one of you says you exist. But the corruption within us is, I exist as the body. I exist as the mind. And so on. But we are not existing as existence. You understand? So the whole journey is to come back to the source. And what will happen when you get back to the source? You will realize everything that you thought, did, all the name and form is nothing but that existence alone. And that is the glory. Therefore, Shakti is not something other than Shiva, but this husband-wife relationship is only at the level of the mind. Aham idam. So, right now we have created a demarcation line between I and that. I am not you, and we become spiritual. I am not the body. More spiritual, I am not the breath, I am not the mind, I am not the thoughts. Isn't it? But what is the culmination of it? That I am everything. Isn't it? That is the culmination. Here we are beginning from that point. Accept everything to be the glory of the self alone. It's healthy. Because eventually you have to get there only. We want to analyze the waking world all the time. Scriptures say, if you want to analyze waking, dream and deep sleep together. Then you will culminate in, you will fall back into yourself. But we make the mistake only of one. We are here considering I am only this body. But by coming to the absolute state, you will realize you are everything that there is. Just like in dream you realized that every form, every name in the dream was nothing but the mind alone. Just like you know every name and form of all the different waves is nothing but water alone. Now you are nodding about this. Now think the consequences of coming to abide in the experience of this. That every name and form is appearing in your mind in the dream, and it is nothing but the mind. So is true about the waking also. Every name and form. It seems to be separate. It seems to be separate, that you are separate to me. But the truth is different. There is no difference between you and me. We are exactly the same, made up of the same material. It seems I pay house, I don't pay, someone pays. House tax for this space of house. You pay your house tax for your space of house. But from space point of view, it is all pervading. There is no separate spaces, isn't it? This is the corruption that we have allowed in our mind. So if I am the I as a thought, I have to consider that every other thought that is coming is born out of me. Total responsibility. No blame game. No blame game. No judgments. No biasness. Everything. The buck stops with me. Every thought, oh, you made me angry, oh, you made me behave like this, oh, it is your fault that you spoke like that, so these words have come out of me. No, buck stops with you. You only manifested, you only. The absolute with its potentiality manifests as consciousness. Absolute when it becomes aware of its potentiality, that potentiality is called as consciousness. The consciousness creates children called the world. The consciousness, the Prakriti, the mind at our level, the idam within the mind, it manifests as the world. I always remains one. In our mind also, I is always one. You don't have many eyes. I is always one. But the idam becomes many, isn't it? I doesn't become many. I always remains the same. But the idam becomes the many, and then I gets identified with that idam, what the various manifestations of the idam, and starts defining itself based on that identification.
The Absolute manifests as consciousness.
When the Absolute becomes aware of its potentiality, it manifests as consciousness. That potentiality is the consciousness. So here we are not talking about the self.
No.
We are talking about the mind is the consciousness. Yes. The mind is the consciousness. The knowledge is in the mind. The self doesn't think. Self doesn't need to think. It doesn't need to think. Then who thinks? Mind.
The absolute here is the I.
No, wait.
But the self is revealed.
Self will always.
But so if it precedes consciousness, how can it?
Consciousness is the potential which was inherent within the existence.
But how can the self
Be aware of consciousness.
Yeah.
So the fire in the wood was inherent, but it was not manifest. It became manifest, and then you call it fire. Do you look at the log of wood and say it is fire? No. So existence is there, truth is there. Truth doesn't say I am existence, consciousness is bliss. It doesn't say.
No.
The absolute doesn't say that I am absolute also, because it is all that there is. So when do these words called Satchidananda and Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta and all these words? Only because it wants to, when it becomes aware of its potential, that potential, it says, I am existence, I know I am. I know I am. Immediately the mind comes in.
Yeah.
But for saying I am, you don't need to say I am. You know you are without a thought. Aren't you?
Yes.
You are without thinking all the time. I am putting words to what you are experiencing most of the time. But the moment you say, you stupid, no, I am not stupid. You donkey, I am not donkey, I am a human. I know I am a human. I know. When you come to this point, not I know I am the body or I know I am the mind, I know I am. This is the first beginning. So that Paramashiva, he became aware.
But that's
Same thing at our level.
yes.
Every morning you begin like that. Every morning you begin like that. Before you become, the mind clicks in. You are aware, mind is absolutely empty. You know you are without a thought, and then the mind clicks in. And the moment your mind clicks in, instead of saying I know I am and going back into that meditation, you start thinking, oh, I have to catch a train, I have to go to work, I have to take shower, I have to do my puja, I have to do this, I have to do that. Immediately all other thoughts then get perpetrated. Otherwise, it's so consciousness, we are not talking pure consciousness, we are talking about manifest consciousness, that is the Shakti. So potential, we saw that before, potential is the Shiva, potentiality is the Shakti. Potential is the pure consciousness. Doesn't need, we are using that word only to demarcate. It doesn't need to say that also. But potentiality is the consciousness, which becomes the name and form, the variety. The pure consciousness ever remains the same. So when we are talking about, see, there are many levels going on here while I am talking. So when we are talking about aham and idam, where is aham and idam taking place? In the mind, in the consciousness, as thought. The thoughts are manifesting as I and that within the mind. Mind is the potentiality of whom? Of the pure consciousness, the absolute, or the Atman here we will say, of the individual. Who is the individual? I don't know. I think I am the body at the moment. We want to find out what that true individual is. So either you look from up, top, bottom, or you look from bottom to top. These are the different levels. When you look at the total creation, we talk about Parama Shiva, Shiva Shakti. When you look at the individual creation, you are talking about Atman and his potentiality, the mind. Within the mind, there is the manifestation of the I thought, which is a form. That thought, which is a form, name and form, no? Name and form cannot express without mind. Understand? Without the Shakti principle, name and form cannot express. But within that Shakti principle also, that I is the reflection of the Atman, and the idam is the, what you call, the glory of that I. Take that. So if you are in a marriage, if you tell your wife, you are my glory, hey, you are my glory, they'll fight. Nowadays they'll fight. Too much individualism. They don't know what, that both are one. This is all the marriage mantras which are, they tell this, but nobody tells the meaning. The consciousness creates the children called the world. Therefore, to arrive at the spiritual core, the process has to be reversed. Exactly the same thing, whether you look top down or down from bottom up. That's the process. So if we are here in this world, oh, so many names and forms. Find out. Who knows? I know. Oh, this is the glory of the I then. But I also is a thought. So I and the glory, whose glory are they? Go back. Where they are expressing? In the mind. Oh, mind. So all the names and forms, aham and idam, are in the mind. Yes. Then what is mind? Find. Yeah. Right now it is only an intellectual understanding. Get to the mind, which is the substratum of the thoughts. Get there. You will find there is only one. Mind will vanish. Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Which you all might be experiencing right now. See? From the world of names and naam and roof, names and form, withdraw to the mind and from the mind to the consciousness, and from the consciousness to the potentiality, then the potentiality will not be seen to be separate from the potential. See, when they say in this manner, if you see, the sequence is from the world of names and forms, withdraw to the mind. From the mind to the consciousness. Consciousness is the first spark when it manifested. Then from consciousness to the potentiality. Potentiality is the avyakta, the unmanifest. Potential is there, but it has not manifested. So every morning when you wake up, that potentiality is there because mind has not become many. For however short period that is, even for a moment, but it is there. It cannot be any other way. Then the potentiality will not be seen to be separate from the potential. Potential is you only. In essence, thus creation attributed to Shakti is the glory of Shiva. Aishwarye si Ishvara jiye ang samsara apalahi ubhara apana chize. She has given the glory to the Lord Shiva and also manifested herself as the glory. Now the other angle. First, before we are looking at it from the Shiva point of view. Now we are looking at it from the Shakti point of view. What is that? She has given the glory to the Lord. Oh my God, she has given glory to the Lord. How come? Just now you were saying that she is the potentiality of the Shiva. How do you know Shiva? As Shiva?
Only if there is Shakti.
No, how do you know Shiva as Shiva?
Through the mind.
Two ways. Name and form. You got a particular form of Shiva. He's sitting there. And the other, the word Shiva. Shiva doesn't call himself Shiva. Then who's calling him Shiva? Who has given him the form? Who has given that infinite Paramashiva to express as Shiva, which is accessible, as form, as name? Who has given that? Shakti. Without that Shakti, you will not be calling Paramashiva or anything. No name will come without Shakti. There will be only silence then. So here she says, she has given the glory to the Lord Shiva and also manifested herself as his glory. So she alone. Shiva is not doing anything. He is just being there. In his presence, the Shakti expands and withdraws. We are talking about, isn't it? The Atman within us is not telling, hey, mind, now become the waker, now become the dreamer, now withdraw everything that you manifested as. It's not dictating. Then it is the phenomena. It is happening. Where it is happening? The phenomena is taking place where? In the mind. Isn't it? So where is the phenomena taking place? In the Shakti. Shiva is not saying don't do this, don't behave like this, nothing. He is just being there. The glory of Aishwarya of Shiva is his wife. Aishwarya का इसको इंग्लिश में क्या वर्ड है इंग्लिश में? Glory only. Glory is Aishwarya. So glory of Lord Shiva is his wife, the Shakti. What is your glory? Not what you possess. Your mind. So naturally, when you start looking at it that way, what the self is, what is of the nature of the self? Sat, Chet, Anand, eternal, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Purnamada, Purnamidam. That is, when that I am, its mind is my glory, then the mind is also complete. It is also Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. It cannot be anything else. But are we considering it that way? We take it to be less than the self, isn't it? And condemn it and control it. And put it in a box of meditation. I sit, contemplate on the self. Stop fighting with the mind. Remember, accept everything, reject nothing, retain nothing. This is the disposition of Shiva. The glory or Aishwarya of Shiva is his wife Shakti. The complete glory, the complete victory, Yasha, the complete wealth, Shri, the complete Dharma, the complete Vairagya, and complete Jnanam is collectively called Bhaga. So, Bhagavan, when we say Bhagavan is having these qualities, what are they? They are the Yasha. Yasha means the name and infinite name and fame. Then, or victory, here it is saying victory. And then all the wealth, he is always righteous. And complete Vairagya. I mean, no attachment to anything, completely dispassionate, completely renounced. Who can be completely renounced?
When there is no incompleteness in the
Correct. When there is no otherness, that is true renunciation. So right now, if we are renouncing, I have to renounce this, I have to renounce that. But once you take it to be your glory, then what's the question of renunciation? Everything is self. Complete Vairagya and complete knowledge. And once you know that the mind is Shakti or potentiality is the glory of the potential of the self, then knowledge is automatic. Knowledge is automatic. Then you don't have to collect knowledge. Then it's not a linear process of gaining knowledge. Then you are the source of knowledge. And when you come to that source of knowledge, then no words are required. That is wisdom. That is wisdom. Then that wisdom, if it expresses as silence, it's okay, because silence is of the Shakti. And if it manifests as words, it's okay. Krishna Bhagwan, he did. If the war took place or didn't take place, it didn't corrupt him at all. He was complete, unattached. Then he tells that to Arjuna, whether you fight or you don't fight, whatever has to happen will happen. You are only going to get the glory. See? He who is associated with Bhaga is Bhagavan. This Bhagavatta or Ishwaratva is given to Shiva only because of Shakti. And therefore when we say Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba, Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramahansa, different masters, they don't call themselves that. Other people call them that. Why? Because they see these qualities expressing out of them. It's not because, we are calling Bhagavan and he's attached to every damn thing. You can't, people will not call him Bhagavan if you are attached. But they see that there is Satya Sai Baba, abundance of everything, but not attached to anything, isn't it? He used to still sleep on that hard bed, eat only, someone I met, he only eats just this much, sometimes not even that much. Hardly eats, sleeps only 2-3 hours, that also not sleep like us, it's a wakeful sleep. And we can't sleep if we don't get our 6-7 hours of sleep. We become Yeah, today I didn't sleep, I got only 5 hours sleep. Why? Because yesterday I came from the satsang at 11, 12 o'clock and I had to get up at 5 o'clock, I didn't get my sleep. I was very tired yesterday, but that was yesterday. Why are you tired today? Yesterday is gone. We connect. We create a continuity. And it's good because everything is one. But we create continuity with separation. That's where the problem is. We are not seeing. If I see myself in yesterday and today, then there will be no tiredness. Isn't it? When Shiva is called the all-powerful, it is because power or Shakti respects him. So when we say he is the Lord, Shiva is the Lord, Shiva is indestructible, Shiva is all-powerful, Shiva is all-wealthy, Shiva is all-renunciate. Who is telling this? The Shiva in me is all-powerful, it's indestructible principle. Who is saying this? The mind is saying it. Shakti is saying it. So, Lord, you know the Lord as the Lord only because of Shakti. If there were no words, you won't be able to have a relationship with Him. You won't recognize. You won't recognize that He is your... He is Lord Shiva. It is because power of Shakti respects him. When he is called Sarvajna, the all-knowing, it is because consciousness is respecting its own source. So when the mind starts respecting its own source, that I am the glory of the all-knowing principle, then what type of thoughts you will entertain? Or what type of thoughts will erupt in the mind? They cannot be which cancel the all-pervasiveness, the all-knowingness, the all-blissfulness, isn't it? Because mind is thinking that it is separate from its source. It is thinking that it is separate, therefore it is putting so much efforts to get there, isn't it? Sadhana, this, that. I have to do tapasya, I have to do this, I have to study scriptures. All this extracurricular activity of the mind is only because her attention, mind's attention, is not on the source. What is mind's attention is not on the... How is mind's attention on the source? When mind is thinking of the... Who am I? Who am I? When it is thinking of that, it is on the source. Isn't it? Because only through the I thought you can go back to your essential nature. Not by any other thought. See?
Why does Shakti have to take human form when she transgresses Shiva?
Transgresses meaning?
Goes against.
Because only through human birth liberation is possible. Only through human birth. So you got a human birth because you did some hanky-panky.
Right.
So you got a human birth. Now this is an window of opportunity to realize the essential nature. Otherwise you could have been one of the gods, you could have been the ghost, you could have been the demon, you could have got into any other form of creation, the bird, the reptiles, etc., etc. But you got human. Why? You must be in love with the divine, with the absolute. But somewhere you had a fight. You misunderstood it. Why do divorces take place? Some misunderstanding, not communicating. Then what happens? Pain.
Yes.
The pain of birth, pain of growing up. Isn't it?
So Shakti has the ability to not only reflect Shiva's glory.
Then whose else?
Because there is a story, isn't there, about.
No. Then whose else glory will it reflect?
That's what I'm. That's really the question that I'm asking. That there is a story where Shakti did not align with the Shiva.
Not once, many times.
And as a consequence of that,
She was
Shakti
born on the earth.
and Shiva took a form to correct.
To help her to come back to her rightful position.
So what is that within Shakti that caused that? How can Shakti manifest anything other than the glory of Shiva?
True, but sometimes she forgets. Your mind also forgets. Right now you are very clear that you are not other than Shiva, the self. But the moment a doubt comes like this question came, you're you're wanting to understand.
Yes.
So Shakti also sits at the feet of Shiva. She says, whom do you love the most? He said, Lord Ram. Not her. He is my heart and soul. Oh, really? She thinks about it and then she says, please, because she's in love with her husband, instead of fighting with him, she says, please tell me also the glory of Lord Ram, who is your dearest. She doesn't become jealous. See? But there are at times when she doesn't listen to Lord Shiva. When she got married to him as Sati, Shakti, and the father of Sati, he was Daksha, one of the Prajapatis, one of the progenitors of creation. So he was doing a yajna. He calls everyone except Lord Shiva to insult him, because this uncouth fellow, undressed fellow, because Daksha, he is always 3 times a day bath, doing pujas, doing this, doing that. Shiva doesn't take bath also. What type of son-in-law I got? He was against that marriage, but it happened. And he doesn't invite him to the thing. And everyone, all the gods are going there. Meaning all their potentialities are going. Her own potentialities. Shakti only has manifested as all the gods, no? So they are going because they have been invited. She said to Shiva, she wakes him up from the meditation, let's go. He says, we have not been invited. And when they got married, they have some rules. And the rules based on which Shiva accepted the marriages, she must listen to him without any question. She must listen to him without any question, because the mind also is very fickle. But when it is listening to the self, then the thoughts will be of the conscience, isn't it? And they are the right ones. But when it is not coming from the thoughts in our mind are not erupting because of our dedicated contemplation on the self, then they take us somewhere else. Corruption happens. The same way, she says once, twice, thrice. In the end, she gets. After Shiva is very simple. He says, my position is that I am not going. But if you want to go, what can I do? He doesn't say you go. He says, what can I do? Freedom. Acceptance that you have your own right and you have to face your own consequences. of life. If that is how it is meant to happen, phenomena, no? That is how it is meant to happen, it will happen. And then she goes and she gets thoroughly insulted by her own father and she gets disgusted. She says, I do not want to be in the body that has come out of your loins, and immediately burns herself in the same Havan Kund. But then it's to be born again in the human birth. And Shiva knows who is going where. It is him only. So he sees, and then because, see, this is how they select the Dalai Lamas, the Rinpoches. The soul which has left this particular body will be having all those qualities. That what do? They put all the belongings of the Dalai Lama in front of that child. And if that child selects the 4 or 5 that belong to the previous Dalai Lama, they come to know he is the previous one. Natural attraction, because there's some connection. So why are you here listening to this talk? Some connection with this knowledge from before. See? But every now and then the nature, the Prakriti, which is part of our mind or itself as manifested, it gets distracted because it's by nature it is fickle. The nature it is fickle. It becomes steady only when it is dedicated and in love and contemplating on our beloved. But when Shakti, Sati, instead of thinking about Shiva, listening to Shiva, being with Shiva, her husband, she starts thinking about her father, about her all the sisters, and how is my father going to do the yajna without me? I used to organize everything, and ego comes up. And she goes against the words of Shiva. Face the consequence. We are also facing the consequence of birth after birth after birth. Isn't it? So this is in this human birth, from where I was plucked to study the scriptures, or to do the sadhana first for 10-14 years, then to go to the ashram to study Vedanta, then to take, and the journey is going on, phenomena is going on. But it could have been anything else. People are drinking, people are on drugs. I could have also been on that and lost the plot completely. But because we must have some connection, not some connection, everyone has that connection. But how distant we are from that connection. If I'm thinking about the divine, he will come to support you, guide you, bring you back to the source. If I'm not thinking about him, I'll keep moving away from the source. Again, I'll get lost. This is what is mind. Where is birth and rebirth? Is it in the self or is it in the mind? In the mind. Every day mind is being born as waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. Every day. Rebirth is happening. Why you want to wait for the body to die? It's happening every day. And why is it happening? Why is this phenomena so powerful for you? Because you have not come to know that it is your glory. So you fight it. You want to escape it. And the day you come to realize the way Jnaneshwar Maharaj is explaining, then even if waking, dream, deep sleep come and go, there will be no waker, dreamer and sleeper born. Understand this. Even if the waking, dreams, deep sleep happen, but the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper will not be born. Why? Because he is gone. This is how the Mahatmas live. You cannot work it out. That's how, with that I ... chhod do. I don't complete the sentence. Because it is not an experience. We have taken that which is not real to be real. When Shakti takes herself to be in love with Lord Shiva and sees she is incomplete without him, then she is totally integrated. When the mind thinks, contemplates that it is incomplete without the life principle, I keep saying this, no? What is the difference between a living person and a dead person? For whom is this instruction? Not for the self, it is for the mind, the Shakti. So, that I must dedicate. That's what brings you here, to contemplate on that. So, when the mind will keep contemplating like there is no tomorrow, in love, in joy, not out of frustration, that is also okay if you want to do it. There are others who have done that way. Many times misunderstanding happens about yourself, this doubts come there, but your journey is towards the self. And when you realize that, as you keep mind is thinking more and more of the permanent principle, because Shakti is the one which is changing, Shiva is the one who is permanent, I is the permanent, Idam is the changing. The more it keeps thinking about it, the integration of thoughts within the Prakriti, within the mind, the integration of thought, that starts happening by itself. Not because of your will, it happens by itself. Will is also a part of Shakti only. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, these are also part of Shakti only. But all of these become integrated. When they integrated, in Kundalini, the Sushumna opens up. When the will, Ichha Shakti and Kriya Shakti, when the power of desire and the power of action, when they get integrated, the Jnana Shakti opens up. The Sushumna happens. So, talk your walk or walk your talk. Let there be no disparity between what you think and what you speak and what you act. And that, the maturity of that can only come about when you are thinking about the infinite, not about anything else in this world. Only when you are thinking about the truth, when you are thinking about the Atman, that this synchronization of the three comes about, of the mind comes about. Beautiful. See, है ना मजेदार? In this environment, when we are able to contemplate like this, by ourselves it doesn't come. I need you to come out with these words. You need me or coexist with me in order to listen to these words, so that we all benefit. So in other words, we are playing with each other. You are making me feel I am the teacher, and I am saying that these are the students. And we are learning that, talking about that which cannot be talked about. We are understanding that which cannot be understood. Big joke going on. This joke is the maja. This joke is the glory. This joke is the phenomena. Cannot stop it. here he says, it is because when he is called Sarvajna, the all-knowing, it is because consciousness is respecting its own source. So you respect your own source. What is that because of which I am alive? Who is saying this? The mind. Body cannot say that, breath cannot say that, mind is saying it. What is that which is making me express as myself with such wonderful variety of thoughts and ideas and imaginations and and you want to put it into one nutshell? I am manifesting as waking dream and deep sleep every day. What is that which is making, in whose presence this is possible? Keep contemplating. Don't look for an answer, but keep contemplating. So Sant Jnaneshwar says the entire universe is a manifestation of this great mother. So beautiful. So the entire universe is not manifestation of the Paramatma. It is the manifestation. Yeah, Paramatma, yes. But that Paramatma who is expressing as Ishwar and Prakriti, and Ishwar says, I did not manifest. She did everything. Gives complete control, responsibility to Prakriti. He doesn't say I did it. Because the moment he says I did it, what will happen? Stupid people like us will be born. Who will be celebrating their birthdays. So Ishvara never says, I created the creation. Never.
But Shakti also does not say that, Swamiji. Shakti also does not say that. She
Shakti
says
also doesn't say.
it's glory of
It's the
Shiva.
glory of the Shiva. So this individuality is a ghost. So what we are telling here through these words, what we are trying to see is that this phenomena of Shiva Shakti is not only at the totality level, it is happening at the micro also, within us also. But we have to catch that. We have to catch that phenomena. See? And not get lost. So all these are words, and we are saying I am the self and mind is the glory of the self. This is also an idea presented to you only. To whom? To whom is this idea presented? To the self or to the mind? To the mind. And what is mind? Nothing but phenomena. Nothing but phenomena. So whatever it thinks or doesn't think, it's all phenomena. And we are trying to just see the whole picture. Because even while we are talking about all this, you know, in your presence it is taking place, isn't it? All this dialogue that is going on for the last 1 hour, it's all the words that you have heard, all the word picture that has been created in front of you, and you seem to be understanding also. And you can reminiscence also that. You can bring back whatever you have heard, some parts of it, isn't it? For that, you must be someone separate from all this. You must be someone separate from this phenomena. Only then you can. And you know that this phenomena of understanding and word games is going on. So are you the words, or are you the one in whose presence these words are being coming and going? Be that. Be that. Either you can be the I as the body, or I as the mind, I as, oh, I can't understand all this. Oh, I understood all this. Or you can be just the silent spectator, the witness, in who's watching all this data coming and going. See? And every now and then that witness will forget himself as witness. He'll take the position of the I. Oh, I am the Shiva. Again become a witness. Again when the teacher says. So this game keeps going on till you become steady in that witnessing. Whole goal is to be steady in that. Shiva, Ishvara or Shiva is ever steady in his position. He does not get disturbed because of the fluctuation of the name and forms. He ever remains his position. What is that? All is one. See? And that is why he is able to help. Every time Shakti loses the plot, he goes and helps her to come back also. Because he never loses the plot. Understand? So why do we go to masters? Because they don't lose the plot. They are able to see things as they are. Why do we go to someone else with our diseases? Because we are not able to, a little bit cough, oh my God. Like yesterday one lady called me, she said, Swamiji, my husband is admitted to ICU in Monash. I said, what happened? Oh, he got some flu and he's got fever and high fever and he couldn't breathe and all that. So yesterday morning before Sanskrit class, I went to the hospital with her because she was crying on the phone. What to do? 2 young kids. I said, let me come. Sometimes that much is enough. I went there. He had this influenza that is going on around. I said, you 3 take flu shots first. Otherwise, one of you again will, it can catch anyone. But he was already coming out of it. Oh, but why did they put the intravenous, someone told me that only when someone is very serious they put intravenous. Imagination. I said they can give that as a medicine through your mouth, but it will take 2-3 hours for it to go into the bloodstream. They put here so that it goes straight away and the immune system becomes stronger. Oh, is that so? पता नहीं है फिर क्यों सुनते हो दूसरों की? If you don't know, why you listen to someone who doesn't know? This is what our mind is also doing. It is listening to itself without having the correct answer. Father doesn't have a correct answer, brother doesn't have a correct answer, son doesn't have a correct answer, father in me. Then who has the correct answer? The I identified with the body has got no correct answer. I who says I am a thinker doesn't have a correct answer. Only when the Atman, if this I takes the position of the Atman, or all the thoughts in the mind are thinking about the Atman, then the correct answer will come. Automatically, you don't have to do anything. So our position from where we are interacting with ourselves is wrong. Our position is wrong. Lord Shiva, he never loses his position of being the witness. He allows the Shakti to expand, contract. He doesn't get disturbed. He doesn't take a position also. He allows the reflection to take the position, if at all. He doesn't take the position. So be like that. So Sant Jnaneshwar says, the entire universe is a manifestation of this great mother who has bestowed this respected status on her husband, our father. So Shiva and Shakti deserve equal respect. The whole world is the Aishwarya of Ishvara, the immutable self. We won't be able to know the self as self at this moment if we don't have a mind to contemplate. Isn't it? So respect the mind. The moment you have respect and reverence towards the mind, that it is the glory of the law, the infinite, then will you allow it to indulge in unwanted areas? Would you allow it to be corrupted by media or by unwanted thoughts or lusty thoughts or anger, greed, jealousy, hypocrisy, manipulation, corruption? Will you allow? Will you allow it to be corrupted by hunger, thirst, cold, heat? So everything is making an impact on our mind. But when the mind is so in love with its source, it becomes unavailable to all these, isn't it? Automatically, you don't have to do anything. Just like when you go to sleep, you are unaware of the whole world, of the body, of the breath, of whether the duna is on your body or not on your body. That also you are not aware. Then the consciousness itself starts becoming many. Thus the same consciousness which has become many on its own also becomes the glory of the Shiva. But nothing touches the Absolute, which remains the Avyaya Purusha. The cause and reason of creation of the world is causeless. It is the sport, Leela, of Shiva and Shakti. The whole game is the Leela, the sport of Shiva and Shakti. Paramashiva is not affected, not disturbed, not touched by anything. Next one is wonderful. पतीचे नी अरूपपणे लाजोनी अंगाचे मिरवणे केले जगाये वढे लेणे नाम रूपाचे. Being shy of the formlessness of her husband Shiva, Shakti has created the whole world of names and forms as an ornament for him. How beautiful! See, the first point of being aware of the Shakti, the potentiality, that is Avyakta, unmanifest Shakti, isn't it? It has got no form. It has got no form. So if it has no form, how can Shiva have form? Because form of Shiva is only possible because of Shakti. So he has got no form, she has got no form. And yet both are existing, completing each other. And here she says, oh, how can I have a naked husband? He is naked. He is Avadhut. He is Avadhut. So then she creates the whole creation as an ornament for the Lord. How beautiful. The husband Shiva is without form. Shakti feels ashamed of his formlessness. So she creates beautiful clothes and ornaments to make him presentable. What are these ornaments? The manifestation of names and forms. So now don't think of Shiva as just that statue there or an idea in your head. Shiva is the all-encompassing principle. It is the essence of everything. Space is not just here or there. It is everywhere. It is pervading the entire creation. Isn't it? Imagine, even subtler than space is this potentiality, and even subtler than this potentiality is the Shiva principle. And this entire world of names and forms, even if you take it as waking dream and deep sleep, that is the ornament for the Shiva, with all the variety. How do you make this house look beautiful if it was only empty walls? So put some dying flowers, put some fake flowers, put some chandelier which is dirty, put some downlights, put some chairs here. What are all these? Different forms, isn't it? So what is giving you an illusion of a full room, of a cozy room? Isn't it? Same way. There is no differentiation in the absolute. It is solid space. This is the special word coined by our Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Chit Ghana. Solid space. He doesn't say ignorance. No, he doesn't say solidity because it cannot be broken. Space because it is all pervading. So you are that solid space, essential, in essence, which cannot be broken by thoughts. Come to that principle. Water is that solid space for all the waves, that even if they express as many, still the water is never broken. Isn't it? Same way, this consciousness. Solid space. Shiva being of this nature, he can see from any angle and hence he is Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, the one who has 1,000 heads and 1,000 eyes and 1,000 nose and 1,000 ears and 1,000 legs, 1,000 arms and so on, and it means infinite. He is a center without circumference. So he is able to, I can see you only by being here, sitting in front of you. But he can see you from all angles. Top, down, east, west, north, south, inside, outside, everywhere. Nothing is impossible because he is everywhere. He can see from any angle and hence he is Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. He is not limited to one particular nature or form. He is not particular. He is not. We consider what? I am only this body. Shirdi Baba considers what? I am expressing through all bodies. Therefore, if that dog eats food, I am satisfied. Now, Shakti, thinking that no one will recognize such a formless, nameless person, Shakti recognize no one will respect such a formless, nameless person, decorates him by creating the whole world as his glory. Thus Shiva becomes the unmanifest substratum of the unmanifest world on account of Shakti. So, because she is manifesting, naturally the question today, even the scientists, they are asking, what is the cause of this creation? Isn't it? So they went to the cause, or they are going to searching for the cause because they are seeing the effect. If this whole creation of name and form is there, where is it staying? Where is it standing? How is it expressing? There must be something. If mind is expressing all these thoughts, how come the dead man is not having thoughts? Dead man is not having vision or hearing ability. What is that? So because we see the effect, we want to find the cause. Because we see the effect of the creation, we want to know the cause, and what is the cause? Shiva. If the creation was not there, will you be searching for the Shiva? Will you search for Shiva? There are many philosophies who do not believe in all this, isn't it? They don't even want to believe consciousness and matter. There only is we don't know why we were born, we don't know why will we die. While we have the time, let's drink, enjoy, make merry. Charvaka philosophy is like that. See, you were saying something?
If Shiva is unmanifest,
Unmanifest as form, yes.
yeah, and Shakti is unmanifest,
Huh.
and the world is unmanifest,
Huh. So where is manifestation? Now, wait. When Shiva becomes aware of his potentiality, both are unmanifest. When you wake up in the morning, body is unmanifest for you, the world is unmanifest for you, because mind has not expanded yet. Then slowly it expands, isn't it? And the world becomes available to you. Initially only the body, then how cold and hot it is, then and slowly the variety keeps manifesting in your mind or entering into your mind. Same way at the totality level also. Same way at your individual level also. So first, both are unmanifest. You don't need to think to be. But you know you are awake. You know you are awake, but without a thought when you wake up in the morning. So that is the unmanifest Shakti. Then slowly it starts. And as it starts, the first ornament on the body, second ornament, I have to brush my teeth, brush, toothpaste, third ornament, fourth ornament, whatever. I'm just saying. And it keeps increasing. Because if mind is empty, if mind is only empty, are you searching for the source of the mind? You will not search for the source of the mind, because mind is not thinking, it's empty. Because mind is thinking with so much variety present to you, so much experiences you are experiencing. Therefore, who created this creation? Where has this world come from? When did it begin? How long is it going to last? What possibilities are there in this creation? On what is it manifesting? What is the foundation of this creation? Then depending upon your intelligence or awareness, that quality of questions will appear to you, isn't it? But if creation was not there, these questions will not be there for you. So you'll live in ignorance. A person who is in coma, a person who is in a vegetative state, can he make this inquiry? No. The same way. Because the manifested world is there, so what is the cause, what is the substratum of this manifest world? Our attention goes to that, and that cause and substratum is Shiva. Who is this Shiva? Without whom this manifest world cannot express. Then who is expressing? His potentiality is expressing. How is she expressing? Because of Shiva. Why she is expressing? As an offering to Shiva. That is glory. Not to establish individual, I have my own existence. No. As an offering to Shiva. So why are your thoughts coming? Is it to achieve something in this world? Or are they coming as an offering to the self? With this awareness, if you go through life, wow! May Lord bless us with this. That every thought that comes in our mind is an offering to the divine. See? एकदम मजा आ जाएगा. to move in that direction, we are doing all this satsang, that this becomes a steady, process. And then, so thus Shiva becomes the unmanifest substratum of the manifest world. Now, when Shakti created the plurality of Nama Roop, name and form, does it mean that the plurality was really created? We'll look into that, that it is a manifestation-less manifestation. It seems to be there, but it is not there. We'll look into that in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sit quietly for a minute or so.